Okay, so the last audiences I'm going to talk about in this section, and I've just decided I don't want to cover in-market topics or those other types of audiences because they're not needed for you to scale to $10,000 a day ad spend. They're going to mess you up if you try to play with them too early. So I'm going to put those later in the course. And the goal of this course is to get you to 50,000, 100,000, 300,000 a month. If we can do that, you'll be okay. And I don't think you don't need affinity audiences, you don't need in-market audiences to do that, and they're just going to confuse you and they're going to mess you up and you do all sorts of weird stuff. So they'll be covered later on the course. Okay? Once you're making 200,000 a month, let's talk about affinity audiences and whatnot. The final type of audience that you're going to be seeing a whole lot of is similar audiences. And so whenever we upload a customer list or we create retargeting audiences based on visitors, what's going to happen is it's going to go and create Visitero, okay? It's going to go and create similar audiences based on everything we've ever uploaded. So when I go to Tools and I go to Audience Manager, you're going to see that my audiences are going to be, you're going to see I'm going to have a lot of similar audiences. Let me go expand this to 500. Okay, so you can see for everything that I put in there, there's going to be a similar audience. So we can do similar, actually we can do YouTube users. I completely was stupid on that. They create similar audiences for YouTube users as well. But so when I go and create an email list audience, it's going to create a similar audience to that. And so I want to stress one thing. These audiences get really broad. They get really goofy sometimes. And so when I'm looking at like a similar audience right here, it doesn't even report the size of the audience sometimes, like similar to Becker. Sometimes it will just say, you know, video size YouTube 1,000. This isn't really accurate most of the time. I mean, I've had similar audiences that scale really far. So I wouldn't really look at these search volumes right here. I just wouldn't. A lot of time the numbers aren't super accurate. So that being said, when we're going and running these types of audiences right here, we want to use basic common sense to go and test out similar audiences. And we don't want to be using similar audiences right away because they're really broad and they're hit and miss. But of course, we want to do similar audiences to people that have opted in. So to go and create these types of audiences, we can do a few different things. So when we go to create a new audience, we can go in here and let's say we want to create a similar audience. So I grab everybody that purchased a product or did certain things when we set up our conversion tracking. So we can do this and it will go and create an audience based on these people, but then it will also go and create a similar audience if we have enough people in there. So obviously we want to create similar audiences based on people that have bought and then people that have opted in. So let me go find like our opt-in. You can see I have a lot in here. So people that have opted in. So I create an audience around people that have bought, people that have opted in. There you go. Now if we upload an email list, it's going to create a similar audience to that. If you have a past list of buyers, upload that. It'll create a similar audience based around that. And those are going to be really the most basic similar audiences. You can get all kind of wonky with it and do people that have attended your event. They got to a certain point in the event. There's all sorts of complicated things you can do, but they're not needed. All right. If we have a similar audience that's similar to our buyers and a similar audience that's similar to people that have opted in, okay, and if we have past buyers, a similar audience of people who have bought in the past, that's more enough. We can spend at least $1,500 a day on those three audiences. That's more than enough that's spending $45,000 a month on ads, just those three audiences, which should make you about $100K to $150K when payment plans and everything are said and done. So that's more than enough. That's more than enough. And so that's how that would be created. And when we're creating our campaign, we would just go under here to similar audiences and we'd select the similar audiences based on it. So similar to everybody that's visited, similar people. I uploaded everyone that's open on our email list, similar to people that have ever opted into our event. This goes on and on. Similar to people that have recently opted in. Right? You see how simple that is. But similar audiences are you really don't want to be scraping into similar audiences until you're past $1,000 a day. And then you can start playing with them. Okay? So this is how similar audiences work.